Hello everyone, welcome to episode 8 of Football Manager 2020 on the channel here. It's been a rather chaotic week so far, so for everyone, not unique to us, but so hopefully I have a rather calm episode today to give everyone something to relax to and not stress out super much. We'll just ignore my finances over here in the interest of not stressing out. But today we'll be taking on Generation Foot from, I wish I could remember, but yeah, they're from Senegal. So we'll be making a trip to Senegal to take them on in what should be somewhat of a merciless beating, but although probably not as bad as this one up here. And then we'll be taking on Maritzburg United in the Premiership, which is also a not super challenging match. We'll have to be on for that one, but they're half a star below us. We should be able to win that. So hopefully we have a fairly calm and successful episode today. Of course, now that I've said that, I've probably cursed this. Something absolutely horrible is going to happen, like the plane's going to crash on the way to Senegal or so. But we'll see how this plays out. Siassi getting a suspension is not ideal. That's not going to apply to the Generation Foot match. That's going to come up in our next Premiership match. At least with suspensions due to accumulated yellow cards, it's only one match they miss instead of the weeks on end that I'm normally missing because of people getting injured. Here we see we actually played all right against Orlando last match. These aren't embarrassing stats, and we kind of knew we were going to lose that, but we made a game of it. So like I said last time, I'm pretty happy with how that played out. Oh god, Wuhan are trying to steal Ericsson, but sounds like no one really expects them to be able to pull that off. So hopefully those people that are expecting it to not work are correct in this, because I really don't want to lose Kate Erickson right now. At least as far as I can tell, China actually abide by transfer windows, so if he does manage to somehow get scooped by Wuhan, I'll probably be able to keep him till the end of the year, which will give me some time to replace him. Pretty okay with this squad for the trip to Senegal. They're a fairly strong squad, but the schedule's moderately light right now. Yeah, like I said, the press is saying they might as well just not bother showing up. We really outclassed this tournament we're in. It's almost unfair, but we're in the second tier tournament because we didn't do that well last year in the Premiership, and South African football is amongst the strongest on the continent. Who do they want for the under 19? Oh, well, he's not even registered. Yeah, he can go play with them. Things would have to be pretty bad before I brought him into the main squad anyway. 4 to 5 support. they think I should have. I have 2, but everyone's attacking. I'm surprised they want me to move to more supporting. But everyone's comfortable making the change, so there we go. That'll give me 4 supporting players. That should make the coaches happy. I might shift them back to attacking during the match because it really feels like that's too cautious. It might just be that we're playing in an unfamiliar country. And I haven't actually looked at how good Generation Foot's pitch is supposed to be. I don't know you. Okay, he's on the under 19s. That's why I don't know him. That's fine. I'm alright with my injuries accumulating there rather than on the main squad. I accidentally misclicked and criticized Siasi, but it seems to have paid off. I mean, I wanted to criticize him, but differently than I did. Unfortunately, I'm using a trackpad instead of bothering to plug my mouse in. Sometimes I have a little too much pressure and it takes it as an input. That didn't go great, but I don't really care how the Durban Warriors do. Like, they're the under 19s. They're just there to get people ready for us. And I've had a couple of years of really bad youth development. I haven't had a good youth squad, I think, since 2021 coming in. So I'm not surprised that they're showing up as pretty mid. My development's good, though, because they tend to be quite good by the time I'm spitting them out. I've brought a number of youth players into the first team, so I'm developing them well. They're just awful when they come in. Nice, good pitch. Good weather. Breezy, but that's fine. We'll make short passes. Feel pretty good about this. See if they have any suggestions for changing McLaughlin in as striker. Who do I have in now? Yeah, I think I'll keep Torre fresh for the Premiership match later and put McLaughlin back in. I don't need my best striker in there. And he works fairly well with Dlamini. Fortunately, those roles don't work that well together, but I've found I have better success when I have players playing the role they're most comfortable with than when I rigidly pick roles that work the best together and then force the players into them. So that's why you're seeing that like those are really bad roles to play together, but they're still making it work. This is a pretty big pitch, not the best to be playing in on a windy day. We actually might not run up too much of a score here, but we should still win this comfortably. I'm alright with just rope-a-doping them for 70 minutes and then scoring 2 goals and going home. Well, no, if nothing happens in this game other than us winning, I'm very happy because Senegal's a long trip from Durban. I don't really want to be here. But luckily we don't have him. Luckily it's after the Pirates match and not before it, so I don't really care that much. And Eriksson has already scored, so if nothing happens for the next hour, it's perfect. I just don't want to go home with a bunch of injured players. But fortunately their pitch is better than mine, so we should be alright. Playing these smaller clubs, you're always worried you're going to end up playing on just a garbage field, but they've got a good one. And they don't seem to be too aggressive on the tackles, so I think I'm going to get. I say as they draw a penalty, but I think I'm going to be pretty lucky and get out of here without any injuries. If Walker scores, this is over, and it is. They're not coming back. 2 goals down in the first 8 minutes. The only question now is, do I pummel them as badly as I pummeled the Guyanian team? They're not defending as aggressively as they probably should be. Like, they're not really crowding that box. They're trying to stay in a more attacking formation. That's probably not a wise choice on their part. We've already proven to be able to run down and score at will, and they haven't shown anything of that sort against us. This might be a case where they just don't have the experience to match up against a team of this quality, because they're clearly one of the best teams from Senegal since they're in this tournament. And depending on who they drew last round, and well, actually, I know who they drew. The only team we haven't played yet, but I think that team's also not really close to our league, so they might just have no experience playing a good team. Now they're starting to defend a lot better. I think they're realizing that trying to go attacking against us just won't work. And like here, it's good. They've got most of their players in the box, and they actually managed to get the ball. They're not trying to get cute getting it up the field. They're just launching it into open areas. This is what they need to be doing against us, because this is how you beat a better team. Like, that was actually a good attack given the quality difference between us. Problem for them is, if we play the way that we're supposed to, they're not going to get those sort of opportunities. That was a wild goal for Walker. I think he might have deflected it off one of their players. We'll have to see in the replay. Nope, it did miss their player. It just was a very curving shot. And this is the problem with tournaments like this. Our squad, you can see, are starting to develop some bad habits just because we've been playing such easy competition. Like Blamini trying to go straight for goal with that free kick instead of just beating the wall and letting someone else take a shot from a more guaranteed area. We're getting slack because we're against weak competition, but that's going to come back to bite us against good teams. So I'm going to have to be careful in the Premiership match we have coming up. Make sure that they play smart. Kawakwina gets a goal there. He's actually been impressive lately. I might start trying to use him as a starting goaltender a little more than Torre. Of course, it's the other downside of these one-sided cup matches. It's hard to find talk about through all these highlights. Because it's not really that we're doing anything that impressive. It's just there's a massive skill differential. And that's not unique to playing South African teams. This will happen with a lot of the cup tournaments in any division that in the early rounds, if you're playing a decent club, you're just going to bully the weaker clubs in the tournament. And if you're playing one of the weaker clubs, you're going to get massacred in the first round. And then it's just going to be over and you don't play cup football anymore. Eriksson with another goal. Showing about why Wuhan wants him and why I don't want to let him go. I can't really do anything about Wuhan's alleged interest because they haven't made an offer yet, so I can't fight them. And I don't remember. He might have a release clause in his contract. If he does, then I just have to let him go if they pay it. But I don't think he's going to want to leave. It's not like Luke Fleur's getting taken to one of the top clubs on the continent. This is actually he went to Saudi Arabia. That's in Asia technically, but one of the top clubs in the region anyway. This is a mid-level Chinese team. I don't think he's going to want to move to China to play for a not terribly well-known club. I've been wrong before, but the press didn't seem to think there was any chance of it happening, and I'm inclined to believe them. Alright, we're almost to the half and we've settled into the game nicely. I can already see that everyone's playing well. Except for the goaltender who's not really gotten anything to do all match. I'd almost like to sub some people out at the half just to avoid injuries in my starting team. But this isn't a friendly, so I only have my 3 subs. So I think I'm going to have to wait a bit and do things the normal way. Unfortunately, where I've traveled so far, I really want to rest some people so they don't get overtired. Although I don't think this game is advanced enough to sim the effects of travel. I like to kind of imagine there are effects. I mean, they've flown all the way to Senegal, played a football match, and come back, and then they have like 2 days before their next match. That would be tiring in real life. A lot of these guys would not be in good condition coming into the match. But I don't think the game accounts for that. At most, it treats this just like they went to a different part of South Africa, which isn't that bad. Like, it does include half a day for travel each way. But I think that's just to cost me the practice time I could otherwise use it for, rather than anything that actually affects player conditioning or fatigue. I'm hoping when I move up to 2024 that they actually have included fatigue effects for travel, so that in a case like this, where I have to go to Senegal, I can't just take my top team. I actually have to make choices about who do I want to have fresh when they come back to South Africa. I think this is a particularly easy choice to just sub out Ben Williams. He's amongst the most he's easily the most tired person on this squad, and he's playing amongst the worst of the people out there. I don't think anyone's below a 7.9 Feel bad calling 7.9 bad, but it's the worst that we have shown up. So I'm going to sub Adam in for him. Pretty happy not a lot's going on in the second half. Let's see, what can I do with Adam to make him a little more competent? I think it's just set him to a defender. He's not going to be great on that side. He's much better over where Siasi is. But this is a good time to build up his familiarity. He's useful. And even if they sneak in a goal, because he's out there and he's not very comfortable in that role or very good at playing it, they're not going to get 5 in 25 minutes. Adam's immediately given up the ball due to making a mistake, but that's kind of fine. I'm not expecting him to do very well in that position, but it's a good opportunity for him to gain some experience playing there, and I don't think I'm going to get hurt putting him in. Like, seriously hurt. I might lose a goal because of it. Moved up to everyone being over 80. Eriksson probably should come off, but he's playing really well. No one's overly tired. No one's playing badly. I think it's going to be Eriksson. I'm just going to make subs based on fatigue level. I got nothing better. I looked at the worst performer on the team, and I don't really have anyone to step into his spot, so I'd have to shuffle things around pretty good for Maritzburg, and given that I'm already running Adam out there, I think I just want to make sure that there's still someone competent on that side. Because ideally I do want to shut them out here. I'm alright if they get a goal, but this should be a shutout. I almost feel bad for Dabo for that one. That was 100% his fault. Alright, final substitute. Everyone's still in a level where I'm comfortable with their fatigue levels. Continues, no one's playing badly. I think Margeman's the best split of fatigue and not playing fantastic, so I'll put Tau in for him. This is another case where I'm getting a player that's not super comfortable with the role. I'm asking them to play and just hoping to build up their comfort levels a bit. But he's over on the opposite side from Adams, so this should be fine. Also, there's definitely no way Generation Foot scores 6 in 10 minutes. We've eased off a lot in the second half. That's fine. That match is over. A nice 6-0 win. Tao gets his 50th appearance. That played out pretty much exactly the way everyone expected it to. Oh, it's only 2 days back until Maritzburg. I thought we had 3 for some reason. Perhaps I shouldn't have taken quite as strong a team up there. CSE needs a rest. That's fine. He's not eligible to play in this match anyway. So let's go give him a week's rest. That way I don't forget when I come back and put him in. The schedule's starting to hammer us the way I expected it to. Walker was unsurprisingly our player of the match. And we're happy with McQuackwana. What a shock. Davies deserves a Canadian call-up. Of course he does. I want to have Davies in every Canadian squad. The board's a little concerned that we lost to Pirates, but it was to be expected. Still, if they only have one thing they're concerned about, we're doing quite well. There's not a whole lot of information to be gleaned from this. You can see we just spent the entire game up in the attacking half. Oh, now Chongqing are going after Ericsson. What the fuck is with China and wanting Ericsson so bad? They have no chance either. I don't actually know who these guys are. Not very impressive. They have a lot of money. Not a very impressive soccer program. Much like Wuhan, I don't think Ericsson's going to want to leave and move to China to play there. This guy's good enough to make a try for, even though he's Moroccan. I don't really want more foreigners in the club right now. I want to focus on South Africans, which is why I'm going to make an effort to grab Mlaba, even though he's not great. Like, he's only a 57 for coming in. Turkish player. I mean, he's really good and he's young. Well, I can't get him anyway. Italian, really good and young. Almost no chance of grabbing him. What the hell? I'll make a try. I do need another goaltender. This guy's not great. And he's Brazilian, so that's an issue, but we'll try. I usually make a try for anyone who scouts over 50. We're going to have to play Adam at the corner because Siasi's on break and suspended. Melula in for Mirosavic is good. That's improvement. And then we're just cycling out the entire front end for our top squad. So, yeah, this is about the changes I wanted to make. I mean, I wasn't playing the top squad when we took on Pirates. I don't love Melula being in on that position, but we did just come back from a pretty tiring trip. And I don't actually think it's going to matter. We're pretty strong against them. They think the press thinks it's going to be close though, so I'm going to have to take this series. Derby are doing well this year, or Derby, Maritzburg are doing well this year, but I don't think it's going to be as close as the press seems to think it will be, but I'm going to listen to them. 2 to 3 defenders. That's what they think I should have. I can set my Lula as a defender without really changing his ability at all. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Our assistant coach thinks we'll triumph. I happen to agree with him. I mean, we only slightly lost to Pirates, and these guys are not Pirates. Letting them have Lamina might be a mistake, but nothing terribly interesting in the development. We're struggling to get Johnson in because the government doesn't want to issue him a work permit. So we've appealed that. That's another problem with bringing in foreign players. If you don't use them, they have trouble getting a work permit. Here we go. They want to bring in a lot more of the actual starting lineup that I like. I'm starting to get to a point where I have two groups that are almost the same level. So it's a lot less stressful to have these fairly close matches. It used to be that I really had to pick and choose who I took. Now I can just kind of be like, yeah, you think these guys are the best guys for the match? Sure, take them. I don't care. Takes a little bit of the challenge out of the match, or out of the planning, but this game's got plenty of challenges as is. So I'm not too upset that I'm in a position where I don't have to agonize over who I'm going to take on a foreign road trip. Teams are looking fairly even early. Nidlova's going to be, I think, our edge because he's a really good goaltender. This match should be close, but I do think we can win it. Forgot to check what the weather was going to be for this match. I got focused on talking for the recording, and I forget to check that stuff. Doesn't really matter. I can't really make tactical. Well, I can in certain conditions, but those usually involve snow, which is not a thing that's going to happen in South Africa. So the conditions we're having aren't really going to change how I manage the team, but I like to be braced if it's conditions that are going to increase the amount of injuries we have. I might try to make subs a little earlier, keep people fresher than I would in good conditions, but there's only so much you can do managerially to protect or prevent injuries. Now, it looks like they're the better team from the stats so far, but those can be misleading because we are only 10 minutes into the match. And like there's Zane Walker scored for us against a run of play, but you can't really say much based off the first 10-15 minutes of the game. It's pretty easy for a squad to control the ball for 7 minutes after kickoff and then never really get control again. I mean, I think we did that against Pirates in the last recording, and we definitely weren't the better team there, so I'm not worried that I've underestimated Maritzburg here. They're drawing a lot of corners, but as they do something with it, so far they haven't been able to make a ton happen with their corners. Like that was a good one, but mostly they've just been kind of weakly passed into the box. And they listened to my advice and they're playing from the back, which is good because this is not a team I want to be just launching a ball up there into. We're up by a goal, just play smart, keep control, run up the possession, and take the opportunities when they present themselves. We don't need to make stuff happen here, they do. And now as we get to 20 minutes, the stats are a lot closer. They still have an edge in shots, but the stats are getting a lot closer. I think by halftime it's going to look about 50-50. Most of this is still based off of their burst of possession early. I think the only reason this is even just considered a close match is because we've been working a much more difficult schedule than they have. And so our players are getting tired. We have a couple of key suspensions, like we're starting Adam. That's not ideal. And Nedlovo's not having a great game today. That's a little concerning that he's looked really not his usual self. Usually he's got very sure hands like that. He is putting in a 6.9 performance despite it not looking too impressive. And now we're dominating on the possession side. We've almost caught up on shots on target. Despite the fact that almost all the highlights are focusing on Maritzburg, we are the better team in this match. It was a very weak attempt by them. Motang showing off his speed to get that. That's a nice change. Usually because of their weak decision making, they'll just stand and watch the ball while the opponent runs out and gets it, despite the fact that they could easily get there first. So it's nice to see Motang actually fight for it. There's a prime example where everyone just let up on the ball and just let him get it. I mean, it's good for preventing injuries, I suppose, but it would be nice to see them have a little more fight in those contested ball situations. But Maritzburg made a mistake, and now we are up by 2 thanks to Grant Margman, so now we're sitting in a pretty comfortable place because even if they pull one back, we're still leading. I usually do want to try to get a 2-goal buffer. I hate sitting on 1 because it's really tense, but I feel like with a 2-goal lead and us being the better team in this match, we should be pretty much set. Yeah, that's good advice. Kamene has gotten a couple of good chances in on us. That was actually a pretty scary attempt right there. And yeah, we end the half with as close to 50-50 as possible, given that there's an odd number of shots being taken. We've been fouling a lot, but that's kind of been a trend for this season. We really don't have good discipline, and I don't know what to do about it. I think it's probably tied to the mental stats that they've been dropping on, or maybe it's just the type of players I bring in, but I don't love that we seem to have a culture of playing very aggressively and drawing a lot of fouls. Like, I don't mind a couple of fouls. Like this game, we've been all right. We haven't gotten yellow carded, but we have too many matches where we leave with like 6 yellow cards. Some of the refs in this league are also really free with them, though, because I've seen matches where like both teams get like 6-7 yellow cards, and at that point you're probably calling it too strictly. At least their goaltender's playing poorly too. This should not be a corner for us. He should have handled that nicely like he did there, and just simple goal kick. I thought I told you to do that already, but whatever. Mark Kuname even more specifically. It's nice that the assistant coaches give you those little tips throughout the match, because it's hard to keep an eye on everyone when you're watching this. So it's good that, like in a real match, the other coaches are looking out for you as well. Domini is playing like garbage, so he's the obvious substitute. Nick Elliott, haven't used him in ages, but fortunately he's been playing a lot with the youth teams, so he's still in good playing form, and he's fairly comfortable in that role. So despite the fact that he doesn't get used a lot, he's not a bad choice to bring in here. Although he will be a bad choice until we get a break in play and he can start playing as an advanced playmaker, because he's hot garbage at the role he's playing right now. They've had some good attacks. Like, We're the better team, but it's fairly close. So this is playing out about the way I expected. Let's see. I think here it's going to be Ben Williams. Motung's playing just a little bit better, and at 63, I'm not desperate to get Motung off yet. So I'll put in Foster for Williams. Don't love having Foster in there, but probably going to have to do it a couple times until Safama comes back. Yeah, I can't make Foster any better. I'm going to have to deal with a 1.5 star out on that fullback position, which I really don't like. He's not very comfortable. He's not very good. But I'm getting thin in that position at the moment. I just have to deal with it. Hopefully we can ride it out. Now I think it's time to get Motung off there. Erickson could use the break as well, but he's playing really well. So I'll bring in other Safama. Feel a bit better about this substitute than the previous ones. The wingbacks are really the point where I'm the thinnest right now. That whole defensive line is a little rough, but I managed to pick up a couple of central defenders and really built up the ones I did have. Yeah, like he's not ideal out on that wing. He's only 2-star. He's not super comfortable, but I'm already up by 2 goals, so I don't really care. The defensive positions are rough all match, but I don't care if I can't score a third. Goal differential shouldn't end up mattering by the end of the season, so I'm really just trying to not lose here. And we should be able to pull that off, especially with Walker taking control. He might actually get us that third goal. Nope, there we see how bad Safama is at that position. That wasn't even close to the goal. They've missed a lot of promising chances high. I feel like their coach is going to have words for them after this. I don't want to jinx it with 3 minutes left, but it looks like today's matches have played out pretty much exactly as I hoped. So, hopefully everyone appreciates a little bit more boring episode given the chaos that's going on in the world. They did manage to get a goal in on me. Not too worried. I don't see them getting another one in 2 minutes. You can see how bad that pitch is. It's just getting chewed to hell. We really need a better stadium, but our club is hemorrhaging money because someone hires way too many people. Oh my god, they got it back. We're actually going to draw this. That's what I get for opening my mouth. There's worse things to happen than a draw, but don't feel great about that. Still, Adam got his 100th league appearance. Walker scored his first goal ever. And then the rest of those are from Maritzburg. It was a competitive match. Yeah. Tell the players what I feel, that wasn't good enough. We should have won this. We're still in 6th, so we're all right. They wanted top half of the league. We're 2 clear of 8th spot, which is the cutoff line for what they wanted. And with a game in hand, occasionally, or drawn with Pirates actually. We've closed it up quite a bit. Sundance has a game on us. But even though we're all the way down in 6th, we're only 12 points off the lead. We're not going to make that. But we're 4 points from 2nd. That's how competitive this is. So we're not in a bad position. Maritzburg managed to score player of the match. So I'll take a look at our schedule before I sign off. Coming up, we've got Super Sport and then Golden Arrows over a 2-day span. That's going to be a little rough. Super Sport, we tend to beat, but they're on our level, and we're struggling with that this year. And in Golden Arrows, we should be able to win both those games again, but we should have been able to win both today, and we did not. So we have a tendency to fall apart a bit towards the end of the matches. Still, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it gave everyone a bit of respite from the chaos in the world. And have a good one, everyone. I will see you next time.